Let's talk about SmackDown. Was it all made by AI? I don't know, but apparently it looks like that way online. If you go through and all the preview for WWE Smackdown, Triple H is saying to San Jose, "Are you ready? Suck it, Sledgehammer." And then everybody in the comments is just asking, is this made by AI? Was the show written by AI? Oh, it's so over, isn't it? We're gonna do our SmackDown review, but I do want to touch on this just briefly, and let me know in the comments if you guys want to have a full video discussing the latest with WWE Creative, supposedly using AI for creative, for images, for video, branding, etc. Let me know if you want to talk about that further. I did a video on AI slop and its effects on WWE. I did kind of touch on this even before this dropped, so if you want to, check it out, but we can go in further about it. SmackDown, though, with this AI stuff is just funny because now I think that because WWE reportedly is using it to some degree, and to what it is, we don't know yet. We just don't. But now it's going to be this constant thing. WWE or Triple H is going to make a post about a show, promoting something, and the internet is just going to say, well, this was clearly generated by AI. Oh, are you sure you didn't get AI to write SmackDown? SmackDown was good or bad. It was done by AI, clearly. This is going to be a thing until it's just not a thing and then it wears off. SmackDown kicked off, though, with Cody Rhodes. Now, overall with SmackDown, I did enjoy it. I didn't think it was a bad show. I didn't even think it was like a mid show. SmackDown has always had a couple of problems with just pacing and just making me feel invested in it. I really did enjoy this week's show. But with Cody coming out, it wasn't a 15-minute Cody promo. What do you want to talk about? They did get through it fairly quickly because they were going to set up the Fatu Drew McIntyre main event, #1 contendership match. You know what's funny? They haven't done a #1 contendership match. Like, I know what happened at the end of SmackDown. We'll get there. But they haven't come out almost ever, it feels like anymore, where they're like, we're going to do a #1 contendership match for the title. I'm like, wow, that's some basic storytelling that actually works. So I like that Cody didn't overstay his welcome and move things along for the main event. Women's tag team title match I thought was a lot of fun. You did have a really good showing, I think, for Sol Ruca especially. Charlotte Flair made her tap out, but you did have Mariah May at ringside. So I like that they are blending and bleeding over the NXT stories with main card, main event stars. This is really good, and it's a good way to introduce. They do this often enough where you'll see Trick Williams in the crowd. Javon Evans has had matches on SmackDown. I wonder if and when they're going to pull the trigger on certain superstars like Mariah May and bring them up to main roster. This was a solid match, but I don't know what you're going to do next for Bliss and for Charlotte, or just who are going to be their contenders. I think they should just really go around from brand to brand, kind of like Sasha Banks and Bayley did way back when they introduced the tag titles. Go to NXT more often, like they did recently. Go to SmackDown, go to Raw, and have matches. And just keep defending those belts. United States Open Challenge. Sami Zayn comes down to the ring, but before we even get the match, you're supposed to have The Miz come out. Carmelo Hayes attacks The Miz, so I like that they are doing this back and forth every single week, because last time it was Miz attacking Melo, and now we have the opposite here, which left Sami say, well, who's going to be my opponent? And lo and behold, Ilya Dragunov makes his return. He's got the knee brace. He's out for a year. It's great to have Ilya back. He's on SmackDown of all things. This match was solid. Ilya's big, man. He jacked out. He put on a lot of muscle for this thing. But the near falls in this match were awesome. There were moments where I did think Ilya was going to win. I did have moments where I'm like, clearly Sami's going to win. Totally would have predicted Sami Zayn to retain. While I was watching this match too, I did think about 3/4 way through, I'm like, wait, are they going to put the belt on Ilya? Or they can't just have Ilya lose. It's got to be a protected loss. Solo's involvement and the MFTs, that all made sense. So you had Solo coming up to the top of the ramp, and he's really targeting Sami Zayn now. Ilya Dragunov, though, wins the United States Championship. So the Sami Zayn Open Challenge is done. What did you think about this move? I think it's amazing because they did give us a shock title change with the return of Ilya, who could maybe now he can have a fresh dominant run on main roster as champion. It's so nice because it's fresh. I have liked what Sami has been doing thus far with the Open Challenge, and he can at some point get the US title back. It does feel like we are going to get a Sami solo program, a more clean-cut one that doesn't involve the belt. And that could be for the best, because then you have these two with a lot of history with the Bloodline going off and having their own story. You don't need the title, so now you free up the belt to have its own story separately. So it's kind of like, let's not have two stories wrapped into one. let's just build this thing separately. So you have Ilya now. He's got the US title. Thought the match was great. Excited to see what they will do. Him versus like Aleister Black could be tremendous. What if they brought Gunther over to SmackDown? And then him and Ilya can have their program once again. There's a lot that they can do with Ilya, but I love that they did this move. Shock return and a title change. That's what you want to see. Probably written by AI, obviously. But the MFTs in Solo, they attack Sammy, they attack Ilya. You did have Rey Fenix come down to get involved because he got beat up backstage by the MFTs. This is the other thing that I like about what they're doing with Solo here. And I touched on this for last week's episode, was they're not just shoehorning them into one superstar, one program, one person. They're everywhere. And Solo's whole mission statement right now is, we want all the gold. We want everything. We want to dominate, which I really like. It does really feel like we are going to be getting Wyatts versus MFTs at War Games, and I think they got enough time. They can really build that thing. Even Corey Graves made comments on commentary that this is going to be an all-out war, so I think that is going to be the direction. But I like what they're doing here. You do have Ilya, Sammy, you have Nakamura who was taken out. He's in Japan, so he wasn't on this week's episode. Rey Fenix, even if they don't do like the Wyatts versus MFTs at War Games, you have a makeshift team right now of like 4 guys that have problems with the MFTs. You could slap in a Damian Priest at some point if he's going to get involved. They have many options to work with. I like that Solo's targeting tag titles, US title, anybody that's in his way. It's a nice, refreshing story. Yeah, in tag team match, if you had the Motor City Machine Guns going up against the Garzas, and Motor City Machine Guns end up picking up the win, but there's more backstage stuff that was going on. I like they did the backstage Machine Guns vignette promo segment. They actually did it a little bit more cinematic. It wasn't just a standard promo. They were somewhere else. And that, again, these are small details. I'm not saying that SmackDown was like the best thing I've ever seen. I thought it was a good, solid show, but it's in these little details that at least I notice is they're not doing Garzas and guns just in the backstage, in the locker room, cameras right there. They did it a little differently. They're like, okay, let's film something here. And I'm like, yes, take 10 minutes and just film something that's like in a different part of the arena or at a restaurant or something. And it builds to it. You also had Gargano, Ciampa backstage. They were talking to Fraxium. More of the tag stuff is coming back while the Wyatts are dealing with MFTs. So they're spinning more of these plates again, because I was like, yeah, where's Gargano and Ciampa? They were gone for a minute. So throughout the show and then into the main event, you did have Drew McIntyre seemingly destroy Jacob Fatu. Now, it was reported before SmackDown that Fatu is out with an injury, so they have probably written him off here with an injury angle. You had earlier in the night, you had Cody and Fatu backstage talking, which I like they did last week. And before the match was going to happen, it looked like in the very background between the two of those guys, you had Drew McIntyre standing there and just arms crossed. He's way in the background. It's kind of like a little Triple H thing they do where you have other conversations happening. But it looked like it was Drew way in the distance. Now, when we got to the main event, Fatu got taken out. He's a bloody mess. And the crates all over him. He was taken out. Drew's music hits. He goes to the ring. And this is where it gets interesting. So number one, Fatu is clearly written off and don't know how long he's going to be out for. Drew wanting to get declared that he is number one contender. Cody comes out and just announces, let's do this. Let's have a match. So we get street clothes Cody, who is apparently even more powerful than regular clothes Cody, who's in his ring gear. So street gear Cody is dominant. They go and just brawl everywhere. And before the bell even rings, like they've been fighting for minutes. Then they finally get into the ring. Cody in his dress shoes, just dummying Drew McIntyre everywhere. These two have a good back and forth. This was fun because it was different. It wasn't just, I don't know, non-title match. It wasn't Drew versus insert a different opponent for Drew to just pick up the victory to then fight Cody at Saturday night's main event. They did something different here. You did get Cody Rhodes versus Drew in an impromptu match that was just a brawl, but it was an official match. The key is the ending. Cody Rhodes got disqualified. He used the championship against Drew McIntyre, something that we haven't seen from Cody. Is Cody turning heel? Was this written by the AI making Cody Rhodes bad guy? We don't know. No, I don't think Cody is turning full-blown heel, but I like that he's more aggressive. When Cody wears like the black coat, and he's all decked in black, it's like bad guy Cody. It's like little signs that we're getting bad guy Cody Rhodes, and I like it. I think that this is an interesting layer to Cody. No, I don't think Cody's going to turn full on bad, but it's doing something neat. He got taken out. Question mark. Did Cody This could be a long-term plan where maybe they do eventually turn Cody Rhodes heel way down the road. What if there is the mystery of who done it to Jacob Fatu? All signs point to Drew. Drew saying he didn't do it. I like that they added that little wrinkle in there. So we will inevitably find out who attacked Jacob Fatu. Was it Cody? Could it be that Cody Rhodes ended up attacking Jacob Fatu backstage, took him out, blames Drew, and he did it because he didn't want to face Jacob because he thought maybe he would lose. Maybe that is why. And then you have Cody putting on this facade, this mask, and just attacking Drew McIntyre. And Cody also went more aggressive through all of this. I start to wonder if maybe that's what they're doing. Now, does that mean that Cody's going to turn bad in the next week or two? No. I also wonder about like Randy Orton. What if Randy's the one who did it? What if Randy did take out Jacob? And you do have a history of Randy and Drew, Cody obviously. What if Randy did to position himself to get to the WWE title? There's a lot of layers here. And anyways, I did like the ending to SmackDown. Cody doing a big splash to Drew McIntyre from the top rope at the very end of SmackDown, ending it. They got to do the pull apart. It's a pull apart brawl with the match in street gear, and it was fun. It was different than just Cody doing, here's a 15-minute promo to bookend the show, or just a Randy versus Drew match on SmackDown main event or a tag team main event. They did something interesting where they added story to it. Is it the best thing? No, we just came off of Braun Breaker Raw and the turn and all of that and what that means. You had Cody addressing that a little bit in the beginning opening segment. It's going to be really interesting what they do, because I think there's a lot of dominoes with Seth being taken out and what these storylines are going to be as we are inching to Survivor Series. And then Road to WrestleMania basically begins. Could they be changing things where Cody becomes more of a bad guy? We have Randy Orton showing up, becoming the ultimate opponent for Cody Rhodes going to WrestleMania. So many questions, but I do think that SmackDown left a lot of questions of what we could see next. The other piece that I left out though was going to be we had the backstage vignette. Because remember last week we had Aleister Black and he did Fireball against Damian Priest, which I loved. Zelina Vega's there. Now they're all sitting there in the room with Snakes. So Aleister Black is still trapped in a room, but at least now he's with his wife and Snake. And now these two are going to be coming after who exactly? I'd like to see them, like I said earlier, going with Ilya, and they start dominating that way. Be interesting to see what they will pull off when it comes to these two. And please don't just keep them trapped in a room with the Snake week after week. It goes from Snake to Badger to Cobra to G.I. Joes to other things, and they're just trapped in there forever. Have Aleister Black target somebody. Maybe he does end up having a program with Cody, and that'd be a great way to elevate Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. A lot of questions still on the table about what they're going to do with Cody, what they do with Aleister Black, the War Games match, MFTs. A lot of fun to be had on SmackDown. And the biggest question, obviously, it's all AI written this week. If it was, I think they did a pretty good job, but I still think that there's real people back there. But if you guys want to talk more about WWE and deep dive some topics, click this video right here. Have yourself a great day. See ya.